You know, we've had conversations where you're talking about being in the club when you were younger and stuff like that. Was there like a moment, was there anything in particular that happened that made you like, I don't want to live this risky lifestyle of always being out and always being in these situations and everything, and hip hop, just going to a club or going to a event or whatever, especially when you're a high profile person, there's all kinds of risk that comes with that. It seems like you sort of stay away from that.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I have security with me. I mean, you know, my security guy is right outside the door
Very
right now.
serious guy, by the way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one pulling no guns on me in this interview.
No.
That's
It doesn't
not
seem
gonna
like
happen.
it, no.
Yeah, man, you pull a gun on me in an interview, you're gonna get shot in the head.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's one of those things where you get to a point and you think, okay, does the effort and resources and money that it takes to go out, does that bring more value to the company as opposed to just staying in? Because the way I have to move these days isn't free anymore. I can't just go to the club by myself to go meet some friends and just hope for the best.
Right.
You know, I have to have security. That security has to be scheduled. It has to be coordinated. When we go over there, there's a certain process involved and everything else like that. And you know, you get to a point where it's like, I'm going out all the time, and yeah, you know, you're running into people and you're getting some interviews and you're making some contacts, and that's cool. But are we also big enough to the point where our reputation is there, where a phone call accomplishes the same thing? And a lot of times it does. So you say, okay, you know, this part is not as necessary anymore. Because best believe for like 10 years, you know, from my, you know, kind of like my DJ career to like part of my Vlad TV career, I was going out 3-4 times a week, every listening party, every event, every All-Star weekend, every...
In your head, were you working when you were doing that?
I was working.
It was
I was working, and it was fun.
Yeah.
At the time, I mean, you know, there's beautiful girls, there's open bar, there's the energy of it. You know, when you're cool with the artist and you're there and on stage with them or in the VIP or whatever, and there's a thrill involved in that, but there's also like, you know, certain things happen. You run into this crew and they have a problem and a standoff happens, or you know, you have to leave, or you know, something happens and you're like, is it really necessary for me to keep doing this all the time? And for me, the answer started to become no at a certain point. So,
and it's also just something to be said for, you know, if you're doing interviews, there's a lot of time spent studying, thinking about it, getting ready, even just like you're saying, like just watching TV. I feel like if I were to sit down and watch TV for a couple hours right now of just random whatever the fuck is on TV, that I'm going to end up with a couple of different ideas for people I could hit up, or just different types of content I could do. You know, if you give yourself that space, and I think being well rested is incredibly important with what we do.
Right.
It's probably like there's a lot of people who act like not sleeping is this great cheat code through life. If you want to be good on camera, not sleeping is your fucking enemy.
Or even off camera.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, listen, like, I think about this all the time. If my only job was to come in and do an interview with someone that whatever radio station or company has already booked for me, and I would just wing the interview.
You could breeze through that, especially if you aren't completely responsible for what the end result, the content is. If you could just phone it in and do a half-assed job and it's still fine.
My life would be so much easier, but I have an office, you know, full of people. There's a whole infrastructure between human resources and taxes and the legal part, and you know, making sure everything is up to code. You know, there's the website, there's the YouTube channel, there's producing. You know, we put out 5 clips a day plus a flashback every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So you're talking about 7 times 7 is 49. You're talking about almost 200 pieces of content a month that we're putting out that I have to overlook. Think about all the things that can go wrong along the way. You know, a lot of my time is spent becoming a better manager and creating a better process and creating an infrastructure in place where this machine can function. That's what most of my time is spent. The interview shit is almost fun.
Right.
You know, if that's all I had to do, then yeah, I can go out every night and then just go do an interview in the morning. But I have a company and I have a dozen people who rely on me to pay their rent and feed themselves and their families. I can't just go and fuck that off and just say, you know something, I'm just gonna just disappear for a week. Like I don't have that luxury.
Do you take vacations?
I haven't taken a vacation in like 3 years.
Really?
Real talk. Yeah.
Is that something that you want to do?
Absolutely. I've been trying to get to Asia for fucking ever.
Really?
Like Hong Kong and Singapore. Like I've never been.
It seems like you do so much content that it would be pretty easy for you to be able to schedule enough stuff out in advance.
Yeah, man. Life just gets a hold of you. The last big vacation I took was in Russia. I went to Moscow and St. Petersburg, and that was dope. You know, I got to really go back to, you know, the country I was born in and stay at the nicest hotels and really, you know, experience it at what I felt was some of the highest levels. Because, you know, we were poor family back then under a communist system. So to be able to come in and do shit that we only dreamed about was dope. But yeah, man, I wish I could take more vacations.
How do you deal with, you know, as a person involved in hip hop, you could choose to indulge in all the things that the rappers do with the designer and the cars and the jewelry or everything like that. What stops you from doing that, or to what extent do you indulge in all the spoils that come with you know, presumably making quite a good amount of money?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have big giant chains because that's never really been my thing, but most of the other shit I've pretty much covered.
Oh, okay. So you have done like the jewelry thing and...
Yeah, I mean, I like watches. You know, my houses are pretty nice. You know, my cars are pretty nice. You know, my business is profitable, and there's an income coming in, and there's money being invested and everything else like that. I'm just not, you know, it may not look like, you know, a lot of people just judge based on appearance. It's like, well, if you're not wearing 10 chains, you must be broke. Well,
right.
You know.
I know you're definitely not broke. I see you like not going so out of your way to represent yourself as being, you know, in the position that you presumably are.
Yeah, but that just comes with more just being yourself. You know, like if I was always in the chains, I can go buy these same chains that you see, you know, the trippy reds with. Like I can go buy one of these trippy red type chains if I really wanted to. It's just never been my thing. So you know, as you get older, you just kind of become more comfortable with who you are, and you know, you're not trying to create an image of who you're not. And I think with a lot of these guys, like the trippies and the like who's another person who's really big on chains. I
mean, Future and Thug stand out to
Young
me as
Thug,
having
like, yeah, I
outrageous
mean,
jewelry collections.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really them. I think that's something they've always wanted.
Yeah.
And they've never had it.
And it's a very solid marketing tactic as a rapper, so you know, it probably pays for itself to some extent.
Yeah, and they're also in front of the camera. They're also selling a whole lifestyle. So a lot of it is, you know, the chain reaction. You know, I interviewed Yellow Beezy. He said when he got a big chain, people looked at him different, and he got booked for more shows. But that's just not me. So for me to try to be that would just be disingenuous to who I really am. So,
you know, what weirded me out about young Yellow Beezy was like, I searched his name on WorldStar and just going back and like watching him slowly go from a rapper who had to pay to get on WorldStar to a rapper who was just doing a shitload of views on WorldStar on his own. Like that gives me a lot of pleasure, just sort of watching that development.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Is there anything that stands out to you that you want your company to do going forward that you aren't currently doing? Are you solely focused on just building out this process that you have going now, or is there like different types of content that you're interested in? Or
I mean, it's a hard question because a lot of times the shit that looks the coolest doesn't necessarily pay the best. You know, like you could have a movie on Netflix or a documentary on Netflix, and you know, most movies lose money. You know,
but if you had a documentary on Netflix tomorrow and it's Vlad presents this, blah blah blah, everybody's gonna be looking at you like you just killed it, like you just did the best move of your career. Little do they know you're making X amount of dollars off YouTube every month.
I've had 2 documentaries and I got paid like $25,000 for each of them and never saw a penny past that. And I look at that amount of money and I laugh. like these days, the amount of work involved in creating that documentary as either a producer or director, the hours of sitting with your editor and saying, move that, move this, take this out, put this in, just the amount of work involved in that to make what I consider these days to be a small chunk of money, and never having no ownership, having no residuals, nothing. It's just a vanity thing, you know, and I don't really care about that vanity shit, you know, because Netflix doesn't pay royalties, you know, like they buy your shit and we'll get an exclusive for like a certain number of years and they'll own the digital rights. You don't see Netflix movies on YouTube because of the deal that Netflix does. What Netflix is doing is essentially what Vlad TV is doing. They're creating a bunch of content and keeping it, you know, forever. And
you make money off of YouTube ads. They make money off of Netflix.
Yeah, off of us subscriptions. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to understand, like, do you want to be rich or do you want to be popular? For me, popularity was never the thing. And a lot of people will do a bunch of shit to stay popular and, you know, live in a studio apartment. You know, this is not what I was trying to do. And as you get older, you start to take that a lot more seriously.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said for just having your own business and creating content on your own, and now people are 100% like enabled to do so.
Yeah.
And you know, I understand completely why somebody might go and get a show with Complex or Revolt or whatever, but it's kind of like, I feel like if you don't have to do that, like we should be encouraging more people. Like the more people doing the kind of things that we do on YouTube and creating businesses where they can become millionaires off of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing opportunity that wasn't available to anybody in any other part of history.
And also owning your own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about that. Like, you know, I've had talks with Revolt, but none of it made any financial sense. You know, I'm not here to make another platform rich.
Right.
You know, and use my, you know, my following and my talents and everything else like that. Or, you know, we don't even really license shit. You know how many times like Vice or some other documentary company or some TV company or a movie company come to us, oh, we want to license this. And it's like, nah, we're good. And then they get surprised, like, how come you don't want to? It's like, because we got our own platform to monetize it on. Like, why would I, once I give it to y'all, now this piece is on your platform and my piece is less valuable because now you can see it in multiple places, you know? And this is why, like, so many people focus on going viral, but like my thing is like, all right, you could put up a 30-second or a minute clip, but if you want to start chopping up my interviews into like 5 pieces to the point where the whole interview is on your Instagram or on your Twitter feed, like I'll go ahead and file a copyright strike and get that shit taken down. You know,
right?
Like, you know, we used to make, you know, social media clips for every interview, and once we stopped doing that, we noticed that our traffic went up.
Really?
Yeah, which was kind of counterintuitive to a certain degree, but it was like, yo, we actually do better when people have to come to us as opposed to like, well, I just saw the best 45 seconds. I don't even need to watch the real interview anymore.
Man, it happens all the time too. Like I've seen that, you know, Murder Mook was a podcast or whatever, and Yes Jules went on it, and it was super controversial, and like, you know, everybody's talking about it. The clips on Twitter had millions of views, and then I went back and saw the original clip on YouTube, and I think it had like 30K or, you know, 25K. Like, people were not going back to watch the whole thing.
People were not going back, and that's what people don't realize. This is the popularity versus business part of the conversation. So it's kind of like, yeah, you know, if my clip gets 1.5 million views on someone's Instagram page, yeah, I guess that's cool if ultimately the traffic goes back to my YouTube channel. But if it doesn't, it's a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, well, this is why, you know, we had, you know, at one point we were paying you know, we would pay to get up on certain big Instagram pages, but I just started to notice that it was like, it's not really, you know, it doesn't turn into actual viewers on our platforms. It just ends up going viral on someone else's platform, Instagram. And, you know, to me, it's not the focus of what I do.
Especially once you've gotten to a certain level of notoriety, you know? Like when you're brand new in the game, you're happy as fuck for any kind of attention. After a while, it kind of You got to look
whatever,
at
man.
what the effects are.
It's a business. It's a business, man. It's a business, and it's also a level of ownership that you have to maintain. So it's kind of like people get mad, like, "Oh, how are you gonna file a copyright strike?" No, I was giving you promotion. Like, well,
People always say that. Like, I need your fucking promo.
I didn't ask for your promo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just stealing my content.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, you're telling me how I'm supposed to feel about it?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't get it because they're just trying to get followers or whatever else.
I never had something taken down like that, but that was a good idea.
Yeah, I get shit taken down. Well, like I said, or if you sit there like and you cut out our logo and add your own weird ass logo on it, it's like, I mean, you can't even tell it's my shit anymore. You know, I remember someone was like, they were taking my clips and they're putting it on their Instagram page, and a couple of them I just grabbed and put on my own Instagram, and the guy's like, "Hey, you know, can you give me credit because I took the time to you know, grab your videos and edit them?" And I'm like, "You want me to give you credit for taking my shit and putting it on your shit when I own this shit?" You know what I mean? Because you know, you're talking about every interview like costs up to upwards of thousands of dollars between the time involved, the editing, everyone who's, you know, people who are writing it up, people who are posting it, you know, like copywriting it, you know, and the whole system around it. Like, this is a big production. This is not just Vlad with a fucking iPhone.
Right.
So, you know, we protect our shit, and we copyright every video. There's a copy with a copyright office. So if you want to go ahead and just take the shit, you know, it's no different than if you want to go and grab the new Drake song. There might be some copyright issues involved in it because it's a real business. It's not just for fun.
Definitely. Yeah, shit. What are you excited about? Are there? Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to ask. Are there any like just dream interviews that you could potentially get? Because the other day I was doing Haha Davis, so I know you did as well. But he was just saying how he had just done he had just done lunch with Jay-Z right before he came to do the interview with me, and I was just thinking, I'm like, God, that's fucking crazy. Like, you know, Jay-Z, that's got to be the hardest to get an interview. That's got to be the one that there's the most people in rap who would be the most excited about. You know, it's like there's always those ones that are just sort of pie in the sky, but it's always a possibility. Is there anything that really like lingers in your brain? Like, it would be amazing to get that.
I mean, shit, I think everything's a possibility, right? I put my platform up there with anybody. I mean, I've never done Jay-Z. I filmed like Ed Lover when he interviewed Jay-Z back when I was just filming his interviews on Power 105. So I've been in the same room with him as he was doing an interview and filming, but not actually doing the interview myself. But, you know, I've never met Eminem. I've never interviewed him. I've never interviewed Obama. I've met Drake once, but we've never done an interview. Trying to think who else.
Drake actually told me he was going to do the interview and then didn't do it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't really like he wasn't really saying he was going to do it. He's like, I got to do one of them interviews sometime.
Yeah,
it didn't really. You know.
Yeah. No. You know, me and Young Thug have never done an interview, even though when someone else was doing it for us, like one of my staff members was interviewing his fiance or girlfriend, and he jumped into the interview.
Really?
And kind of
I
talk some shit. Yeah, there's a lot of people, man. I mean, we were supposed to get a Hillary Clinton interview when she was running. That never happened, but we came close.
You know why it didn't happen? Any particular reason presented?
No. We were supposed to get Farrakhan. That didn't happen. You know, sometimes people around the person would be like, nah. We were supposed to get Jay Prince. That almost happened. It didn't happen. Yeah, man, lots of people. Lots of people. I'd like to get Denzel one of these days. I'd like to get Tom Cruise. Like, you know,
that's an interesting thing too, that you go in that direction of doing like actors from the 70s, 80s. Like, a lot of them have amazing stories, but just
we just did. I mean, shit, I did Bill Duke not too long ago.
That was a good one.
Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. I mean, shit. Oh, I just did Malik Yoba.
Right.
That just came out. You know, I was a huge New York Undercover fan. Yeah, man. I mean, actors, professional athletes, rappers, singers, criminal figures.
Yeah.
Like, I try to go all over the place with it.